Welcome back to another episode of the Bright Ideas podcast. As always, I am your host, Trent Deersmid. And in this podcast, I am here to help you discover what is working in e-commerce by shining a light on all the tools, the tactics, and the strategies that are in use by today's most successful entrepreneurs. In today's show, we have a very special guest from one of our sponsors, Payability. Her name is Vicky Sullivan. Vicky, thank you very much for joining me. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me. This is a lot of fun.
So for the folks who might not be familiar with you, which is probably most of my audience, let's start there. Who are you and what do you do?
So I'm Vicky Sullivan. I'm the marketing manager over at Payability. I'm here in hot and sweaty New York City right now. And if you read our weekly newsletter, I'm the one that writes the newsletter. And I also get to work with awesome partners like Trent.
Cool. So we're going to be talking a lot about money and cash flow and inventory financing and so forth in this episode. So let's start off with when it comes to cash flow management specifically for e-commerce business owners who are selling on the Amazon sales channel. What are some of the things that you think they should be paying the closest attention to?
Well, platforms like Amazon have really created, seemingly unlimited consumer demands, kind of like we've never seen before in history. So even, really well-financed Amazon businesses can often run into cash flow issues, especially when it comes to staying in the buy box, filling inventory, avoiding those dreaded stock outs. Mm-hmm. So what I would suggest is really paying attention to cash flow and making sure you keep feeding the beast. Amazon businesses are really cash flow businesses. So the more cash you have on hand and the more flexibility you have with your money and your ability to restock, the more successful you're going to be. You often have to act fast in this type of business. Mm-hmm. What these selling strategies that worked maybe 6 months ago might not be working today. Mm-hmm. So you really have to be very nimble, and no matter how big you get on Amazon, you really have to operate kind of like a startup or a small business.
Absolutely.
And cash flow can definitely help you do that.
And so a quick tip, folks, for cash flow in the next interview, in interview number 280, I'm going to be interviewing a bookkeeper who uses the profit first methodology, which we use. And we actually have a separate bank account specifically devoted to our capital for inventory. So if you aren't familiar with profit first, either go buy the book on Amazon and start reading it now, or wait until next week when Cindy's interview is live and you will learn all about how you can do that. All right, so for sellers who are financing inventory using credit cards, which is obviously a pretty common way for people to do it in the beginning, do you have any special tips for them?
Sure. Credit cards can be a great tool. I don't currently have an Amazon business, maybe someday, but I am also one of those points-obsessed people. So utilizing points is a great way to or even cash back, depending on if you get a lot more out of the travel, then that might be the way to go, since you're running your own business and you can go wherever you want. If you're getting a lot more out of the travel, that might be the way to go. But if the cash back is making you more profitable, go with that. So it really depends on your preference and your lifestyle. And while these programs are awesome, and I love my points program, I'm a Chase Sapphire Reserve person. In case anybody was wondering. Mm-hmm. If you really love these points program, that's great, but do not, bite off more than you can chew. Don't go into debt thinking that, the points are so good, so why not? Definitely pay it off every month, and don't get in over your head.
Definitely.
So points are great, but pay them off every month. I think a lot of credit cards don't even give you the points if you don't pay it off. So, definitely utilize those programs, but don't do so to your detriment. If you're not paying them off every month, maybe it's time to just use your debit card or cash.
So speaking of paying them off every month, if you are new to my show, if you go to Bright Ideas and you Google an episode with Josh Lucas, if you just type his name into the search box, you'll learn some pretty clever credit card strategies that Josh used to increase his working capital while running his business. So what about when credit cards are maxed out? What's next?
So when credit cards are maxed out, you do have, I wouldn't suggest that. I was just paying them off, but if you're really growing and maxing out your credit cards is part of your strategy, and you want to keep growing, you have a really proven product. You do have, there are a lot of different ways to finance your inventory. You can borrow from friends and family, which can be great, but can be really bad. If it's going to bring more drama into your life, it might not be worth it. But if your family member is going to be more of a partner in your business, maybe it's worth it to you. Speaking of partnerships, there's raising capital, raising equity. Sorry. Raising equity, and by that I mean, bringing an investor into your business, kind of like Shark Tank style, which again, kind of like a family or friend, can be really great for your business if that person is, a partner. Maybe they're an expert on an area of your business that you're not an expert on. You really complement each other. That could be a great way to grow your business, because they're going to be bringing in expertise as well as money. I would say I wouldn't go with somebody who is just bringing in money and not the expertise, because you're just going to lose, a portion of your business rather than getting a smaller piece of a much bigger pie, or somebody you're going to butt heads with, because that can be, again, lead to more drama in your business than it's worth. There's also, HELOCs or home equity loans, but I would be careful with those. Especially if you don't own a significant portion of your home, those can be, can be financially detrimental if something goes wrong. But say you own your home outright or almost outright, that might be a good way to go about it, as you're really just kind of borrowing from yourself at that point. But if you don't own a significant portion of your home, it could be tempting to take, because the interest rates tend to be lower. But you could get yourself into a very bad situation if something doesn't go as planned, and your house is kind of on the line there. There's traditional bank loans. They can be a very difficult for small businesses to get, particularly those selling online. But say maybe your Amazon business is a very small portion of your business. You've had a brick and mortar store for over a decade now. Maybe in that case, that is an option for you. But in other cases, they can be, again, they're very hard for small businesses to get. They often do want to see a physical store or hold inventory as collateral, which can be really hard if your inventory is caught up in FBA. There's alternative online lenders, which are, do have a lot more flexibility when it comes to approvals, and also approve people a lot faster. But they are a little bit more expensive, or sometimes a lot more expensive than a traditional bank loan.
Yeah, with the alternative lenders, you really need to be careful about all the fees that they tuck in to their loans. Over the years, we looked at a number of those, and every time we did, it just was prohibitively expensive. So all the things we've described so far go from a range of, easy, like credit cards, to somewhat easy home equity line of credit, to relatively difficult to raise money from investors, because if you don't have an established network, or you don't have a relationship with somebody, to go out and try and find that money from cold investors will definitely be a challenge. Now, I know Payability offers a much, much, much easier solution. So why don't you go ahead and tell us about that?
Sure. So Payability, we are a financing company developed exclusively for Amazon and e-commerce sellers. We really understand these businesses a lot more than your other financing options. So we have two products. One is our instant access product, which is going to make things a whole lot easier for you, especially if you're in a situation where you're growing, but you've maxed out your credit cards. So what we do with our instant access product, it's a factoring product. So instead of getting paid every 14 plus days like you would on Amazon, we're going to get you paid every day for your sales. So you get more cash flow into your business. You're able to finance your business with your own money rather than someone else's money. So that way, you're not borrowing more on top of the credit cards that are already maxed out. And, that can be a really great solution for people who have maxed out their credit cards and, want to continue to buy inventory and reinvest in products and reinvest in their business. We also have a second product, which is our instant advance product. So we're going to give you up to a month's worth of payouts in one lump sum, 24-hour approvals, no credit checks on either of these things, and that's all because we're able to approve you based on your Amazon account health and sales performance, not your credit. So there's never any credit pulls or credit checks. It's just financing based on how great of a seller you are.
So a couple of follow-on questions. One, define factoring for people who might not know what that is. And then two, how long to be eligible for either of the products that you described as a seller, how much history do I have to have on my Amazon account?
Sure. So factoring is just like kind of what I said before, where you're financing your business with you're getting your own money at a discount, and you're getting a little bit less to get it a lot sooner and reinvest in your business. So to put it in more financial terms, we are purchasing receivables, i.e. your Amazon sales, at a discount.
So I'm not taking on any additional debt.
No.
Okay.
No. No, especially not with the daily payments product. It's just accelerating your own payment. So if you have a really big sales day yesterday, you can put that money to work right away rather than having to wait 14 days.
Okay.
And to be eligible for our daily payments product, our instant access product, that you just have to have 90 days of sales history and around $2,000 a month in sales. And for our advanced product, it's around 9 months of sales history and $5,000 a month in sales.
Okay. So you guys have set up some special promotions, I think, for the Bright Ideas audience. Is that right?
We have.
You want to give us a quick run through those and how to get to them?
Sure. So we have a $200 sign-on bonus when you use, I think it's brightideas.com/payability. Am I right?
brightideas.co/
Oh, sorry.
/payability. If you go to brightideas.com, you're going to learn how to bake a cake.
Well, that could be good too. But if you want the payability discount, you go to brightideas.co.co/payability and get your $200 sign-on bonus when you sign up for either of our products.
Okay, wonderful. All right, Vicky, well, thank you so much for coming on and very quickly explaining what seems to be an extremely convenient tool for folks who are looking to raise additional or get access to additional working capital without taking on additional debt.
Awesome.